Hello, my beautiful viewers out there. Welcome to the Mike Martin's channel. And today we're going to take a look at a comparison video. We're going to be comparing North Korea to Canada. So we're going to look at some comparisons that both the countries have. And it's kind of striking when you see so many of the similarities. Now, I'm an immigrant. My family, we're all immigrants. My wife's an immigrant living in Canada. And we're kind of seeing, looking around and kind of seeing the situation and what's happening. And I kind of brought it best to say, let's look at North Korea, because they have one thing in common that we have with them, four very specific things in common. So let's read off the list here. North Korea and Canada. Here we go. Since the early 1950s, North Korea was basically making up crap as they go along. Propaganda, instilling fear. Because once you instill fear in the people, you could get them to do anything you want, right? And that's one right there. Is since the early 50s, North Korea has been making up crap as they go along. Canada really started putting its pressure in 1993 when they closed immigration to Europeans, and then it started to get hot in 2010. 2010, they in Canada, they really started moving forward to making up crap as they go along. And it's 2021, and they keep making up crap as they go along. Whether it's through governments, whether it's through officials, whether it's through people on the street, people thinking they know, but what do they really know? That's the question. Number two, the media is bought and paid for. Canada, since 2016, the CBC has received several bailouts to keep its dinosaur media. Lots of mainstream media has been basically paid for by government. So Canada and North Korea, again, since the early 50s, again, it goes more into propagandization, making sure every house in North Korea had a radio of some sorts or some way to keep in contact with the government's daily announcements, right? In Canada, basically, how they're doing is they're shoving the mainstream media down our throats, whether it's on YouTube or other platforms. They automatically send you stuff that's in your area. So there it is right there. So Canada has been, media is bought and paid for. And then when you look at Russia Today on YouTube, it gives you a disclaimer saying this is bought and paid for entirely by the Russian media or Russian government. In Canada, unfortunately, it doesn't say at the bottom of the CBC or Canadian news channels that this is bought and paid for entirely or partially by the Canadian government. They don't do that. They can't do that. God forbid they do that. But yes, media is bought and paid for in Canada, and so is North Korea. Southern borders closed. Canada now looks like they're going to may extend border closures to 2023. North Korea, South Korea, their borders have been closed since what, the 50s? Late 40s, after like a couple of years after World War II? They drew that perimeter line? Yeah, it's been closed off. Borders are closed, okay? We both North Korea, so we're going to number 3 was borders closed. Number 4, we both have socialized medicine. Canada's had socialized medicine for years, and I'm not saying Canada's healthcare is bad, or it's kind of crumbling now, and it's kind of falling apart at the seams, but North Korea also has socialized medicine. And creating an enemy, the boogeyman. Kind of different from propagandization because they're actually creating and instilling and pointing out the actual enemy up front, as opposed to propagandizing in a way where you're in constant fear around you for everything. Well, we found the enemy for you. Who is our enemy in Canada? Climate change. Who's the end pipeline? And in North Korea, it's obviously the Americans and the South Koreans are the enemies of the North Koreans. All right. So the death rate is higher than the birth rate in both countries. Right now, North Korea is experiencing a higher death rate than birth rate. In Canada, you're probably saying, well, more people are being born in Canada. Well, because of birth tourism and people coming in from China, not Europe, not other countries, but from China, birth tourism. Look it up. Just look it up, birth tourism in Canada. More people are having more and more birth tourism coming in Canada than actual Canadians having families. So the birth rate of Canadians are higher than the death rate is actually higher than the birth rate in both countries. More people are leaving the country. What does Canada and North Korea have in common? That more and more people are fleeing the country. Now, well, why would somebody, that's on welfare, doing okay, kind of making it, and why would they want to leave? Well, it's not them. It's the brain drain. It's the professionals. It's the people, the doctors, the licensed, the practitioners, the plastic surgeons, the optometrists and stuff want to get out and practice their business or practice their. So there are more people, more and more people are leaving the country, and the same thing with North Korea and Canada. Laws do not apply for elected officials, so we're getting into tyranny. If I don't have enough money to buy food and I print it off at home, or I'm printing off money, the books will balance themselves. I would go to jail for printing and counterfeiting, creating a federal crime, and probably go to jail 20, 30 years. The government is short on deficits. They just print off money, and they start cutting more and more of the private sector. Oh, Mike, but all these private sector jobs are closing. 77,000 jobs closed in businesses closed in Ontario from these lockdowns. Well, they're just going to print money. They don't care. They're not going to depend on the private sector anymore to fund the public sector. So both countries is basically elected officials could go out and basically this makes Richard Milhouse Nixon's Watergate scandal look like a walk in the park with some of these officials are getting away with today. Okay, and they're mandatory things in Canada. I'm not going to say what it is, but they're mandatorying specific things for specific workers in Canada. You know what it is. It's 2021. You know what I'm talking about. And in North Korea, they have mandatory haircuts. Yes, they do. They actually have, you can look it up online, they have a list of mandatory haircuts that is mandatory that you choose from for men and for women to choose to wear when you're out. Or not to wear, but to have when you're out. North Korea and South Korea, North Korea and South Korea and America and Canada. If you look at the similarities of the countries and you start to see the differences, you start finding less and less differences, but you start finding more and more similarities between the two countries. Now, if you're in Canada like me and you love your country and you don't want to see it to fall into tyrannical mayhem, which it has already have been since 1993, and it's been getting worse. Comment below, share this video, get this out there to other Canadians or people across the Commonwealth to see the similarities below. Comment below the similarities, let's say if you're in Australia with North Korea. Comment the similarities below from other countries and see where it is. Because North Korea to us has always been our enemy. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken. Thanks for watching.